Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the final episode of the week. This is Matthew chapter 22. You are watching the Bible Vlog. Alright, so this chapter largely highlights the religious leaders still attempting to trap Jesus. Now, they keep trying to think of all these different kinds of questions that if Jesus answers one way or another, it could really get him in a lot of trouble. So go ahead and look at verses 15 through 22 and watch how Jesus handles this particular situation. Then the Pharisees went and plotted how they might entangle him in his talk. And they sent to him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, "Teacher, we know that you are true and teach the way of God in truth, nor do you care about anyone, for you do not regard the person of men." I have no doubt Jesus was sitting there like, Tell us, therefore, what do you think? Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Now, let me explain the idea behind what these guys were doing. So the religious leaders recognized that if they can get Jesus to say yes to the question that they're about to ask him, that he would lose favor with the Jewish people since they despised Roman domination. But if Jesus answers no, then they can turn around to the Roman Empire and report him for treason. So this is a lose-lose situation for Jesus, or so it would seem. But again, Jesus being so full of wisdom, look at how he responds to the question in verses 18 through 22. But Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, "Why do you test me, you hypocrites? Show me the tax money." So they brought him a denarius, and he said to them, "Whose image and inscription is this?" They said to him, "Caesar's." And he said to them, "Render therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." When they had heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. Now, this is what was amazing about Jesus. He was able to not only walk through a wicked person's trap like this, but he was able to offer a teaching at the exact same time. Now, later the same day, the Sadducees, another religious sect of guys, also come to Jesus with another question about the resurrection. You see, the Sadducees themselves didn't even believe in the resurrection, but they're trying to make a point about it by asking Jesus another difficult question. So they pose this scenario to Jesus about a woman, and she marries a man, but then that man dies. So the brother of the man marries this woman again, but he also dies, and this continues on for 7 times, supposedly. Let me just say, if you get married 7 times and your husband keeps dying, it might be time for some self-reflection. So finally, after all 7 of this lady's husbands die, she finally dies too. So the Sadducees ask Jesus, whose wife will she be in heaven? Now, while this is a ridiculous scenario, I do know a lot of people where maybe their spouse has died and they've gotten remarried, and this type of question is actually a legitimate concern for them. What is marriage like in heaven? What if your spouse died? What does that look like? Let's look at Jesus' response in verses 29 through 33. Jesus answered and said to them, "You are mistaken, not knowing the scriptures nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels of God in heaven." See, we can't think of heaven in terms of earth. Many aspects of it are the same, but in heaven the relationships you have are far greater than the physical relationships we have here on the earth. There's no sin in heaven, so you are literally talking about a perfect existence. There's no jealousy or anger, there's no hurt or resentment. The love and glory of God are what fills heaven, and his power is what transcends everything there. Now, even though it's hard to imagine, the relationships that you have there are more loving than what you can even experience here on the earth. Yes, it's that good. All right, one last thing we want to look at here. The Pharisees, after seeing Jesus answer the Sadducees, pose one more question to Jesus. Now, again, all of these questions are really tests that are meant to trap Jesus, and the one doing the questioning this time is actually a lawyer, or what we would call a scribe. So look at verses 34 through 40. When the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together. Then one of them, a lawyer, or a scribe, asked him a question, testing him and saying, "Teacher, what is the greatest commandment in the law?" Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets." Love God and love people. And notice what Jesus says at the very end. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments. Guys, with everything that we have been given, all of the truth, the grace, the mercy, the teaching that Jesus provided, all of it, it's like getting the most wonderful gifts given to you, but when it's delivered in love, it's like putting nice wrapping paper all around those gifts. When you deliver the message of Jesus in love the way it was always meant to be given, people always respond. Love God and love people. Guys, that is going to do it for us today with chapter 22. Man, oh man, it is fun to watch Jesus just slap the religious leaders around. All right, guys, hope you all have a wonderful and relaxing weekend. We will see you back here on Monday for chapter 23. Until then, be good. Go out and show that love of Jesus to somebody. God bless you guys. We will see you back here Monday.